Hi, it's a pleasant day, everyone. How are you? I hope you're doing great. Today, I will be discussing networks and wired and wireless data from the analog to the digital age. You are expected to distinguish the analog technology and digital technology. So first, let us define what is analog. So analog is relating to device in which information is represented by continuously quantities such as spatial position, voltage, and etc. It uses analog signals. What is analog age? Analog age refers to the time period when analog technology was dominant. It was roughly from the early 20th century to the mid 20th century. During this era, people used analog devices like radio, television, and telephones. What is analog technology? So analog technology refers to electronic devices that uses continuous signals to represent information such as radio waves, sound waves, electronic signals. So these are the examples of analog technology. The vinyl record in 1949, cassette tapes in 1962, analog camera in 17th century, analog computer in 1930, and telephone landline in 1849. So next, let us define what is digital. So digital is composed of data in the form of special binary digits expressed as a series of the digits 0 and 1. It typically represented by values of a physical quantity. Digital age refers to the time period when digital technology has become widespread. It was from late 20th century to the present day. The digital technology refers to electronic devices that uses discrete signals such as binary codes to represent information. So here are examples of digital technology. The mobile phone in 1973, digital camera in 1975, CDs in 1979, and digital computer in 1940s. So there are types of computer based on data processed. Number 1 is analog computer, 2 digital computer, and 3 hybrid computers. Analog computers are computers that measure continuously physical magnitudes like temperature, pressures, and voltage, rather than directly dealing with numbers. So analog computer has a characteristics which is number 1 uses continuous variable. Analog computers deals with data in a smooth and continuous manner. Number 2, it performs data in a truly parallel manner, which is analog computers can perform many calculations simultaneously. For example, an analog computer can measure the speed, distance, and time of a moving object at the same time. Next is a digital computer. Digital computers are only capable of operating on information that is represented in a digital form. An advanced digital computer produces results more accurately and faster. Digital computer is a machine that processes data using binary code, which is represented by zeros and one. It takes input in the form of numbers, letters, and symbols and performs calculation and logical operations. Digital computers are only capable of operating on information that is represented in a digital form. The advantage of digital computer is that they produce results more accurately and faster. Next is the hybrid computers. It is a combination of analog and digital features. It uses analog components to solve complex problems and digital components to control operation and store results. So, most hybrid computers usually have digital to analog and analog to digital converters, which allows them to bind the power of digital and analog techniques. For example, a hybrid computer can convert the analog signal of a microphone into a digital signal for processing and then convert the digital signal back into an analog signal for output. So that's all for the types of computer. Next, let's proceed to networks in wired and wireless from analog to digital age. So firstly is networks. Networks were primarily used for communication between computers and are often proprietary and limited in scale. Networks were typically connected using dedicated point-to-point links. So data transmission was analog, meaning that data was transmitted as a continuous signal. Networking was mainly used for research, education, and government purposes. So these are the examples of networks in the analog age, ranging from 1960s to 1980s. First is the ARPANET, introduced in 1969, which is the first operational packet switching network. And second is the introduction of the Internet Protocol, or the IP. In the early digital age, which ranges from 1980s to 1990s, there was the Internet Relay Chat, or IRC, invented in 1988. It is a real-time communication protocol that allowed users to chat with each other over the internet. So next is the World Wide Web, or the WWW, that was invented in the 1989 by Tim Berners-Lee. And the introduction of commercial internet service provider and online services like America Online, or AOL. And we have the modern digital age from 2000s to present. So the development of wireless networks and mobile networks, the 3G, 4G, and 5G. This is where the adaptation of broadband connections such as cable and fiber optic was introduced, and the Internet of Things, or IoT. Let's proceed to the wired technology. Wired technology is the transmission of data over a wired-based communication technology. So these are the technologies in the analog age. The telegraphy, which uses Morse code to transmit messages over wire, and telephones, introduced in the late 19th century, enable voice communication over wires. In the early digital age, which ranges from 1950s to 1980s, these are the technologies that was introduced. The digital telephony, it used pulse code modulation to convert analog voice signal into digital signals, and the modems, which is also called the modulators, demodulators, it was developed in the 1960s. And last, the modern digital age from 1990s to present. These are the technologies that was introduced: the fiber optic cables in 2000, the cloud computing that was also introduced in 2000, and the digital signal processing introduced in 1990. Let's proceed with the wireless technology. Wireless technology, devices connect with each other into a network, and data or information between these devices transferred without wires or cable. So these are the technologies that was introduced in analog age, which is from 1960s to 1990s. First is the radio frequency signals used for voice transmission, such as the FM and AM radio. The analog modulation, which encodes data into RF carriers, limited voice transmission with low data rates and poor quality. And the wireless local area networks, which emerged in 1990s. It was used for data transfer in local areas. Conditions of digital age from 1990 to 2000. The technologies that was introduced was the CDMA, or the Code Division Multiple Access. Introduced in the 1990s, it allows multiple users to share the same frequency band. The wireless broadband, it enabled faster data transfer rates and wider coverage areas such as Wi-Fi. And the 2G and 3G networks, which enable mobile data transmission with speed up of 2 Mbps and 3 Mbps respectively. So, in the digital age, which is from 2000 to present, technologies like 4G networks or LTE, long-term evolution, is introduced in the late 2000. The 5G networks is the latest generation in wireless technology. It promises even faster data speed, which is what we are using. Next is the software-defined networking, which enables greater control and flexibility of our network infrastructure. And the last but not the least is the artificial intelligence, or AI, which improves wireless data transmission efficiency. It is also what we are using now. It enables to communicate faster, to get information, and it enables us to work more accurately and easier. So let's proceed to the analog signals versus the digital signals. What is the difference between analog signals and digital signals? So analog signals, these are continuous and can take any value. It is susceptible to interference and noise, and it is used in applications like music recording and telephony. While digital signals are discrete and can only take on specific values, they are less susceptible and can be easily processed and transmitted, and they are used in computers, telecommunications, and multimedia. So that's all. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you've gained some new information and knowledge from my discussion, and thank you very much.